moving on from there is another source of when the knot tightens. When the knot tightens, when I've been in classrooms where teachers have been quick to anger, frustrated, sarcastic, over-controlling, when I speak with them afterwards, when I'm there helping them, doing whatever I can to help them be the best teacher that they can be and to thrive rather than just survive. One thing I hear a lot, and this is the theme of overwhelm. Frustrated teachers are very often have a feeling of being overwhelmed, that there is too much for them to do, that their cup is overflowing, so to speak, that there are too many demands on them, too little time to achieve it. And this feeling of overwhelm, of like we're drowning, like the water levels are rising and rising, and it's a feeling of surviving. That's when a teacher, as teachers, we can get very anxious, and we then become quick to be sharp with the children, or over controlling, and we're not relaxed anymore. There's not so much fun, humor. We might be quite a funny person. We enjoy humor, just quiet humor. Some of the best teachers have this quiet humor, very just beautiful. But that begins to fade. When we're stressed, that begins to fade. And what else fades when we're stressed is if one small thing goes wrong, just one, we can feel that spreads, and we can start, if even just one or or two children are misbehaving, we can become very we can go into discipline for the whole class. And it's really just one or two, perhaps three, but we spread it. We don't bracket it. What I'm suggesting is this kind of stress when leads us to not bracket things, to not be able to keep it in perspective. One of the things I think to become very aware of in creating space is, first of all, I want to give a few very, very practical hints. If we want to create space inwardly, one of the really helpful ways to do that is create a sense of space and spaciousness outwardly. Look at your classrooms and simplify them. Pack things away. Make them very simple on the eye. Make them very simple visually. Declutter as much as you can. Put books in a bookshelf and put a curtain in front of the bookshelf. Take materials and put them in baskets, and put the baskets in places so that visually it's very simple. Take a lot of things that are on the walls. Classrooms, in my opinion, are far too cluttered with things on the walls. One woman said to me at my university, when I gave them the task of decluttering their classrooms, and this was a teacher of 20 years, very experienced teacher, came back to me and said, I'm kind of embarrassed because I took everything down. I decluttered, I made the surfaces smooth, all the horizontal surfaces were cleared, the shelves, desks, all the horizontals were cleared. I took down things off the walls, all that stuff off the walls, very little, very little. Now, she was coming back to my university to upgrade her qualifications to a master's degree, but she'd been teaching, as I said, for a long time. And she said, I'm embarrassed because for the first time in 20 years, I was the most interesting thing in the room. And not just me, but the children were interesting to each other. They started becoming more social. We weren't being distracted by all that clutter. When you create a simple, spacious environment outside yourself, that can give you a feeling of spaciousness inside, and in that knot of rope that we talked about, you've just opened up some space. That's the first thing. The second thing to create spaciousness is have your day be rhythmical. Have your day follow certain predictable, rhythmical patterns, so that in the morning we do this, and in the afternoon this, and before we finish, we do this. Now, if you're a subject teacher moving around various classes, high school teacher, then in that 45 minutes to an hour, or however long you have, 30 minutes, again, when you first enter the room, you can still have rhythm. Firstly, you greet the children, just greeting them. Don't walk into a classroom and straight away say, everyone sit down. It's a big mistake. Reach out to them, be interested in them, ask them, how are you doing? Oh, is it really, really, really hot today? Oh gosh, it is, isn't it? Or do you remember yesterday you mentioned you were having trouble with that homework? Did that go okay? Oh, you sat up late doing it? Okay. Then, and you just reach out to the children, and you have a little rhythm. And then you might deliver the content, but you might give, and this is a key thing, a preview of what you're about to teach. Some of the most masterful teachers I've seen, and this doesn't mean old, sometimes quite younger colleagues, have had the ability to preview the content. They've let the children know what it is they're going to learn. So it's this principle of tell them what you're about to teach them, 1. Teach them, 2. And then tell them what you taught them, 3. Preview, teach, review. And there's this rhythm. And when the children come to expect those rhythms, it could be, there was one little boy, I was very recently in a kindergarten, and one little boy who was greeting his mother later in the day, the mother asked him how it went, and he said, "Mummy, when I come in, I take my outside shoes off and I put my slippers on. And then when I put my slippers on, I put my coat on my coat hook. It has a picture of a bear. The bear one is mine. I like the bear one. And then I go in, and then what I do right away," and he walked his mother through the day. He'd only been there a couple of weeks. He was very new. And he was so pleased at all the things that he could expect. Rhythm is healing. Rhythm is so healing to anxiety when a child knows what's coming next because they've done it over and over, and then it comes true. Now you may think that's boring, but it's the opposite. It's when it's done warmly with a light touch, children relax into it, and their own amygdala, their own fight or flight response is calmed because they form a picture of what's coming next because they know it, and then it comes true. And that is a way to just open up the tangle, open it up, open it up.